Hey, it's Matt down at the Battlegrounds. So if you've been here, you know we do airsoft, Nerf, a bunch of different things we're doing now, gel blasters, rivals. Over the COVID time, when I sat back and had a lot of thinking to do, I also looked at how can I add more to the Battlegrounds. Well, that's what I did here with the RC shop. So we have a full remote control hobby shop, primarily cars, trucks, boats, few drones. If you want stuff that we don't have, we're more than happy to get it for you. Just there's only so much room and it's packed. But just like in airsoft, it wasn't just a retail store. Okay, people have to have a place to go to do the things they're doing. Well, I didn't have room for a track, not yet. I have another location we can look at, but I couldn't do a dirt track. I couldn't do a big jumps and that kind of thing for a bashing course. But what I did have room for was a crawling course. And so what I had to do is look at it from a different perspective as well. I only had so much space to work with. If you've been to the Battlegrounds before, you know we try to put as much detail in as we possibly can, knowing it's going to get beat up and everything else. So that's what we did here though. So I didn't want to do a scale park where everything's sized to the truck. So the little houses, like a train set. So I went more like a giant diorama type of setup where I've got a full-size Jeeps in there. I've got an actual creek with running water. I've got waterfalls. I've got vines all over the place. And we try to utilize everything on the course to its maximum potential of space, lanes going over it. Like the Jeep you'll see has 4 different ways you can go over it and around it. Not counting the ground where you can go underneath both in the front and in the rear, down both sides, through the interior. We try to maximize what you can do with each structure. So we're gonna give you a little tour of it. Love to see you come down, because how this works is you come down for 2 hours or 3 hours and you get a spot. You get your spot to put all your tools, your truck, your bag, whatever. You have your designated spot for those 2 or 3 hours. You come down and you crawl. It's kind of casual, you know, you don't have to be in there the whole time. You could sit and BS with somebody for a bit, whatever you wanna do. But the whole idea is you just come in and kind of do your thing. I wanted to create an environment where you felt like you were outside while you're inside in the heat and the air conditioning. No ticks, no rain, no mud, no bugs, no animals, no snakes. You don't have to worry about all that because it's not in the building. So let's take a walk through. All right, so basically this is where we started. This thing's actually twice as big as I originally had planned. But anyway, this is where we started with our vintage Jeep. Actual CJ, the motor ran when he drove it on the trailer to get it here, and then we started taking it apart because it's beyond rusted out, couldn't be used. So from this point, I basically wanted to create a scene where you're in the woods and you just come across an old abandoned Jeeps in the woods in an off-road, in a quarry, in an old plant kind of thing. Being Western PA, we got a lot of old abandoned factories, so it tied in with the staircase for looks wise. As far as operational, I wanted to create something difficult but not too difficult, because we do offer rentals. So we have 2 different rentals. You can rent the TRX4 Sport, or we have the ECX Tempers, which are really nice little 18 scale little bouncers. This is a class 1 and 2 course only, no class 3. It's not designed for it. That's way too fast. This is a slow course. This is not a course where you're going to come in here with your Traxxas Slash or anything else, or your Max, and you're going to go through this. It's not for monster trucks. It's for crawlers. So, but basically from this beginning point, there's 8-9 different lanes that you can travel, and that's what we try to make sure to give you is enough different avenues. And we got 30-foot long straps that you can travel up and down. We have got another set of straps that is probably the hardest thing on the course to get onto and make it up, but you know we got a catch net for that. So I try to create things in here as different as possible. So when you're coming across the rocks, you drop down onto the seat, you push a button. The seat raises you up, you drive across onto the red, white, and blue Jeep, and then you continue on from there. What I tried to create was something that just was so unique and fun that, you know, you're not going to just see this in your backyard or out in the woods whenever, you know, you get the outside world, plus you get the modern conveniences of stuff, and just some creative fun stuff. I mean, the seat, and my artist Terrell is just absolutely just knocked this one out of the park. As you'll see, the artwork, the Jeep's painted onto the walls from a distance. You have to take a second look at them to make sure that it's not completely real. Then we have the mountain. So the mountain wasn't supposed to be this big. So I got a friend of mine, Mike. He's a contractor. Told him what I needed built. I wanted to make sure it was structurally strong, overbuilt. This is all wood, concrete, mesh, a little bit of plaster for the outsides of it. But this is concrete and wood. I mean, this thing's not going anywhere. It's about as solid as can be. I walked in. It was supposed to be about 3 feet shorter, and he took it upon himself with the design. And I'm not upset. It's phenomenal. It's eye-catching. It definitely it's intimidating, to say the least. There's so many different nooks and crannies. You could spend a half an hour just playing around on this mountain. We got several different water features. We got the waterfall, Funnel Falls, and we also have this this climb here has water constantly coming down it. So it gives you a couple different features. Plus the hill climb, where the other blue straps are connected. You're getting above a 45-degree angle, so it's a little bit of a challenge at times. So on this side, what I try to do, that side's got a lot more technical crawling and a lot more bigger features. So on this side, I wanted to give a different experience. Kind of like with Airsoft, we have 2 different fields, 2 different experiences, 2 different play styles. Same thing applies here. You've got one style of crawling over on that side. Then this side, it's a little more like you're actually in a park or in the woods. So we have active waterfall with a creek. These trucks can all go in the water, but it's not that deep. And we try to utilize different things for the realism, like with the fallen tree, the long grass turf that I have that's on all the shelves and on the tree. The trucks respond similar to being on moss. So, and if we decide to spray it down with a little bit of water, then it makes it a whole lot trickier. Or you get water on your tires from the other stuff, you get onto that moss, makes it a whole other level of difficulty. But it's, a lot more rocks, dry riverbed. I try to put different features that 1 or 2 people can be at every different feature, and I can get 15 people in here and not tripping over each other. So basically, there are plans to be an attendant during the weekends for people. So if your truck falls into the water or falls over inside the features, we ask that you not be walking in there to grab the stuff if the attendant's available. If you're running a rental, same thing, and the attendant will give you a little lesson on how to run the rentals, how to run the trucks. Probably start you off on the rentals on this side, which is much simpler, and then go over to the other side. So we try to utilize the vines over here as well, add decor. I know obviously you don't have to have fake plants and stuff like that, and you don't have to have water features and all these things. But if someone's gonna come to my facility, I want them to feel like they're in that new environment, and it's not just crawling the trucks around, it's about the environment that you're in as well. So, you got ledges going across with rocks in it, with the moss covered and everything else, all the rocks, everything's glued down, but it's also strategically placed to be a headache in some spots. Some places are much simpler. We also have lighting underneath everything, so that we are looking at doing competitions down the road, and we're looking at low light competitions, which is even more difficult. It's when you're getting into that, you got to have lights on your trucks and whatnot. The realism level of these trucks is pretty impressive, so I had to try to step up my game to give as realistic environment as I could. So anyway, love to have you come down and check out the hobby shop. Show me your hobbies, located right here at the Battlegrounds in Munhall. If nothing else, just come down and see the course. It's definitely worth the trip.